hopefully this is coming in loud enough and my mic's in a good enough position for this. But what is up, everyone? It's your boy Izlo33. I also need to close some windows from content I've been watching already. So yeah, there's that. Close that one down. Hi, yeah, there's my live stream box. We don't need that. Okay. Here we go. Welcome, peeps. I'm here today on a dying PC to discuss League of Legends. We've got MDK versus GiantX. Our matchup of the week. Oh boy. This is a fun one for us because it's a quickie. A literal quick matchup. And it's unfortunate to say, but this series is dominant from one team in particular. So, gonna get into draft. Gonna enjoy this one for you guys. As Madlions Koi sit on blue side, GiantX sit on the red side, and we're already getting in thick and fast into the ban phase as Madlions banning out the Maokai, removing that controlling pick overall. Varus taken away on GiantX side, and we get to talk about the bot lane early on here as bans being thrown towards it. I'm going to be brutally honest, GiantX seem to have not really found a strong bot lane on patch 14.2, and this is kind of important to note as, realistically speaking, they were dotting around the Ezreal Yuumi in the first round of playoffs. Didn't find much success with it, as the poke and harassment just wasn't good enough or up to scratch to realistically deal with their opponents. This time, you're kind of hoping that they go for maybe something unique, maybe new, as Ivan removed off the board. Oyoya's not going to be getting onto that pick. I've heard talks and rumors around Ivan in the current meta being quite strong. Just, it's not seen its way back into competitive play. As for the rest of the bans, Kalista rounds out Mad's first rotation. And so, immediate first pick goes into the bot lane as Senna is locked in for Madlions Koi. This does kind of indicate that GiantX may have to go for an aggressive early game if they want to kind of stifle that scaling the Senna will provide to Mad, but they're going for a similar sort of scaling comp with the Sejuani comfort pick for Peach coming through alongside that ever so strong mid lane pick that's not really left the meta since its release in Azir. A very strong pick overall. What I will say is though, teams may be considering a little bit of a change up here as the rest of these bans coming through, I would say, aren't going to be as strong as, say, bans picks coming through, sorry, aren't going to be as strong as current top meta picks. Now, what is surprising is the hovering of this MF. I'm not thinking it's that strong. But first rotation of picks coming through in total, we've got Vi Karma on Madlions Koi side. That Karma flexible in terms of where it can end up. Friscari could take it. Merwin certainly has played it. And it could also go into Alvaro's wheelhouse. However, I much rather see Alvaro on an engage-heavy support. And that is not what I'm expecting to see. The Blitzcrank being banned out by Madlions Koi. They certainly have got the strength and strategy to utilize that pick themselves. However, that's going to be removed. Zac removed away by GiantX. They've seen the prevalence of that pick on the current meta. It's a very powerful one, and the fact that it's coming through here just certainly ties together. Would tie together, honestly, the engage that Madlions would need to round out a very strong front line. Mad, next man, going to be the Rel. That strong pick that could probably cause a lot of havoc. Already, GiantX have a lot of frontline with the K'Sante and the Sejuani in their comp. Rel might have given them the engage tools alongside the Sej, but I would much rather have seen maybe a ban towards a Enchanter support. Even if Enchanters aren't as powerful right now, something would have been powerful. That's going to be the MF coming through for GiantX. I'm expecting to see full lethality. Just the big bullet time shreds that it can do into the late game. Obviously, if we get to that point. But it's seen very little play here. And it may not see much play after this game. As, realistically speaking, what Madlions Koi have done is drafted a very aggressive team fighting comp. That bot lane of Nautilus Senna probably going to ascertain some control in the bot lane. That's just not going to be easy to deal with. As Nautilus can land the hooks to allow the Senna to continue to stacking up her soul stealing, soul snatching, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I would say Matt certainly have the better team fighting comp overall, as Alistar going to be paired alongside that MF in the bot lane. I'm not sure I really like the GiantX comp. It's a lot of uniqueness with the MF and Alistar. Certainly very little play across the rest of the league. But is it strong enough? They've got very little damage, I feel, considering K'Sante has been nerfed to smithereens in terms of damage. He's mainly there just to be a big beefy frontliner. But Alistar, if he can survive the upfront engage from this Madlions Koi squad, he can certainly land some big pulverizers. It's just whether or not Mad allow him to do that, because you've got so much poke with the Mantra Qs coming out from the Karma. You've got the needlework from the Gwen post, level 6. And then the bot side, the Senna always will be auto-attacking you down. It's a very strong comp Madlions have that I don't think, with the comp that GiantX have, can survive the upfront damage to get the engage they need to allow for the Azir and the MF to pop off in the team fights. Plus, what I will say is MF, while she does have the movement speed buffs on her W, she still is a very immobile ADC and can quite easily be jumped on and locked up. When that happens, you look at the rest of this GiantX comp, there's no or little to no AD damage. And I think that's going to be a problem in the late game because of the fact that the Vi and the Nautilus probably will stack up magic resist. I definitely think the Vi will stack the MR more so, and as well as the Nautilus. Yeah, not me stack a bit more armor because he's dealing with the MF most of the game, but that's an if or a when, as the early starts are being layered down. Gonna see both junglers on the top half of the map. Just checking deep vision. One deep ward onto the blue buff of GiantX's. They're gonna be, well, the start is kind of gonna be telegraphed here by the Madlions, knowing full well that the blue buff is not the start point for the Sej. Bot side, the possibilities of a level 1 play coming through. Instead, it's just going to be a few souls snatched away here by the Senna. You can obviously see on your left-hand side of the screen. By this point, the Senna stealing away the souls. and how many. Is a good hook going to come through. Headbutt from the Alistar going to just allow for a bit more trade back, but already Patrick forced to burn his health pots. And that's going to mean a level 2 going to go through to the Madlions bot lane first. And on the back foot already is the GiantX bot lane. Now, typically speaking, because of the fact the Sedge is passing to the spot side, we should see maybe an alleviating play coming out from Peach to get his bot lane back into the game. However, I think Alyoya obviously well aware of this possibility. That's why he's matched the same pathing as his counterpart. So, as a whole, this bot lane should feel fairly safe here for the Madlions to get this push up, as Vi going to be spotted out, stealing away the blue buff. In fact, Peach caught out, hit with the W from the center. Just going to be auto attack down as Soul picked up there on the exit from that one. Peach taken quite low means that he cannot contest this blue buff, which means Alyoya gets a free steal away of a couple of camps. This is huge for the Madlions because you're putting Peach behind. Plus the fact is, there's no camps on the other side of the rift. Alyoya is just basically putting a roadblock up in the bottom half of the map, meaning that Peach can't get any steals away of CS, and is kind of forced to play either extremely aggressive on a side of the map that he can't really play aggressive in because, spoiler alert, both his mid lane is being pushed in and his bot lane is slightly been pushed in, but it's kind of being reset back to neutral. But yeah, he's going to try to steal. He's going to know that the red buff is being taken, but is unable to get the camp taken away. And as such, Madlions sitting happy, sitting content as this early game already going in their favor slightly. And it's a 600 gold lead that is being melded in the jungle. Alyoya and his bot lane kind of setting up for the early advantage as a whole. What do you know? This is actually really well done by Matt, because obviously they knew Peach was on the bottom half of the map. They are aware that he took his top camps first when it came to the fact that when Alyoya went to steal away camps, he saw that, hey, none of the camp spots I were taken, meaning quite obviously Peach had started on his red buff side as bot lane. Quite a heavy amount of trading coming through. But getting back to the point, essentially... Oh, never mind. That's going to be Jackie's force to dash back under tower. But yeah, essentially Alyoya well aware that the top half of the map is going to be filled with camps as the second respawn comes through of them camps. So he's going to try and make Peach's life hell. And while it's given him 100 gold back into the top, the jungler, he's still ahead and he can look for this play as Odoamne diving on his own tower to safety. Won't be killed off here, but this play, it's just allowed for Merwin to get pushing. Obviously, Odo does have TP, so he can get back to this wave quite quick. However, he probably will lose 2 to 3 CS. Back onto the objectives, though, because of the top lane being relieved, it allows for the roam down to these Void Grumps. And Merwin just going to help his jungler clear this camp out. Gonna pick up all 3 of these. It's a very nice thing to get because as a whole you kind of want to get these so that you can get the pressure down onto the map. You look at the rest of this Madlions Koi squad, they do have quite a good siege in terms of the fact that they're very strong duelists through this game, and it does mean that GiantX kind of are hoping for a miracle fight, honestly, if they're unable to pick up a massive lead. Now, right now, the gold sitting in favor of Madlions for the majority of the map. In fact, all the map is blue right now in terms of the gold lead, even though it's a slight one in some positions. this kind of does put GiantX on a bit of a bad situation because, let's be honest, Madlions Koi scale for days and will obviously outscale quite hard this GiantX squad. So they realistically don't need to be overly aggressive in how they play. GiantX need to be aggressive. They need to get pressure onto this map. But because of the fact that Elyoya has just been marking Peach perfectly, trying to steal away so many camps, it means that the GiantX jungler has just been unable to get any pressure out onto the map because he's constantly being contested and put behind. The great thing about Vi is the low cooldown on her Q means that she can get around the map quite quickly. On top of that, she's got a really good clear of the camps. The fact that her E stacking up, doing so much damage, the AoE effect of it just means that the camps just die quite quick. Spot side, possible fight coming out as Ignite is going to be used. Peach is coming down and he's going to force the flash out from this Nautilus. But look how low that Alistar is. Force flash away. Ignar surviving on little health. But that dredge line is amazing. Going to burn the flash out from Patrick. And in the end, the possibilities of a kill coming through looking more and more dire. But now the Madlions re-engaged. Getting on top of Patrick. He's rooted in place. The Dawning Shadow secures first blood. And Mad look to get a little more as Peach yet again force the flash away. Madlions get first blood. Get themselves pressure onto this tier 1 in the bot lane. While losing absolutely nothing on the cross trade. Obviously, that is kind of a huge thing to say, as Jackie's unable to get anything in the mid lane, even if Frescowie makes the roam play. This is overall great map pressure from Madlions. As we watch this play again, it's just a very long dredge line to secure Patrick's flash. Now he's in a situation where he can't escape this play from the Vi. The Vi goes forward, Q's Peach, meaning no stun can come through. And then the ult through, the unstoppable ult, locks Patrick in place, allowing for Dawn Shadow to get the execute off. It's just a clean play overall from the Madlions, and it's allowed them to kind of continue to apply pressure onto the map. That 500 gold lead has gone up to a 2k gold lead now, with the first blood coming through. It's been very uncontested on the map for Elyoya, you have to feel. Because this game's kind of been revolving around the jungler of Mad. Just applying pressure, denying camps, making it outright impossible for Peach to play this game. And this is the storyline of how this is going, as Merwin, he's been freely pushing in this top lane. He's already secured himself one plate. They won't fall off for another 4 minutes, and because he has complete and utter lane domination, it does mean that Elyoya gets to take these Void Grumps for free yet again. Already secure for himself 4. This 5th one coming through will mean double Void Grumps on waves pushing into tower. There you go. And number 6 coming through to boot. That's always a bonus, as the extra gold is going to be ascertained. On the other side of the map, Peach going to set up some vision towards this dragon. Starting this one up, but Mad are well aware this is happening. Instead, they're just going to allow it to be pulled once it goes back into the pit. Mad just start to contest. They're invading into this river. 3 members of GiantX still hovering. But what will be the play from GiantX? It's going to be the flash getting burned out with Frescowie's the karma going to be forced quite low. Never mind, it's Patrick caught out, isolated and killed off. Madlions continuing the pressure as the hook lands. It's a dead Jackie's, and that's a 2-for-0 trade, and that should be Drake to boot. Madlions find themselves another couple of picks, and GiantX get absolutely nothing from this play. I'm going to be simple and frank. Great flash out from Frescowie to avoid the Emperor's Divide. As continuing forward, Nautilus could have thrown the dredge line out. Obviously, bit isolated there. As Elyoya is still in the pit. We watch this play again. Keep your eyes on Friscowy. Just a slide and glide. The flash as the Empress Divide is used. But on the bottom half of the pit, Patrick's just hit by a hook from Alvaro. Which means that it's instantly killed the MF time for Mad. As it's just clean ultis, clean abilities used by the bot lane of Madlions to get themselves the pick, as well as the team fight on top of it. Now, that gold lead was 2k a couple of minutes ago. It's only gone up to 2.4k now after the Drake. And Mad still maintaining full control of objectives on the map. Peach, he's sitting somehow quite nicely. I think he's done quite well to catch up in CS, sitting at 14. Well, now it's only 10 CS behind his counterpart. He's actually done well to kind of catch back up, even if the item differentiation is quite big, as a black cleaver picked up for Elyoya means that he is ahead by a full item, and that is something we're starting to see, is first items across the board, almost on second in the bot lane if you're for a Scowy. But yeah, this is getting into a very dangerous position if you're GiantX. You needed to win this early game, and you've kind of not been able to do so, as the Madlions have just continued to apply pressure, as Peach is being chased down. Elyoya is hunting. Alvaro using the wall to get closer, put down the depth charge. That's going to be an easy kill for the center. That's for Scowy. Sorry, Jackie's dodges away the Vi. This is overall a very interesting game, as Elyoya, he sees the Azir gonna get the Emperor's Divide out from it, and that's gonna be ulti burnt out of the GiantX mid laner, and so he can't really step up safely to this tower, as these Void Grub just gonna destroy the health bar. Obviously 14 minutes on the clock right now. Herald is up. Will we see Vi pathing up to the top side map? You have to feel she will be. In fact, she is, as this big objective, a very nice thing to obviously ascertain for yourself. As here we go, Rift Herald contested without any competition, and that's actually a really nice play by Elyoya, putting the control ward into the river. It means that Odo can't step down without being jumped on. It's a nice play overall. It also provides a bit more safety to Merwin, who is looking to get a bit of a push here. He's starting to stack the wave up to allow for the slow push. This kind of leads me to believe that Elyoya wants to try and drop Herald in the top side map. Bottom side of the Rift, though, what we are seeing is some stealing away of camps, as that's just going to be Peach getting some well-needed XP and gold into his back pocket. However, Madlions setting up for this tower. Herald Crash should secure it. In fact, there we go. First turret blood secured to the Madlions. Look how many Void Knight have come out of the Herald. They're looking to get a continuous trade through, as that's going to be an engage onto Peach. Already being locked up in place. The Assault and Battery puts him low. Dawn and Shadow will not be able to execute him off, but here come the GiantX squad. Double TP coming through. Jackie's immediately forced to flash away after going in, but he's taken incredibly low and bursted out. Alvaro secures a kill, but on the bottom half of the fight, Odo, he's trading into Elyoya, but will he be able to get the kill? No, he will not. Rooted in place is this Cassante, but he's unable to get anything done. Instead, it's going to be him getting killed off, as on the bottom half of the map, Ignar gets executed off by the Vi. That is a clean sweep of the board. Only Peach survives, as the Madlions find 4 with a split pusher. That was a 4v5 fight that was just won out by MDK without any contest. Merwin gonna secure for himself this tier 2 to boot. So much gold injected into the Madlions squad after that massive teamfight win. And I think we need to keep our eyes onto the TP play set up by GiantX if we get a replay, because it sucked. I'm going to be brutally honest, it sucked. They weren't able to find anything on the map. And now Mad just setting up for the Drake. They may not even go for it at this stage. It's just going to be Elyoya trying to steal away camps. There you go. So much gold being injected into the Madlions squad here. However, top half map, Jackie's going to split push. Going to try to get himself the tier 1 in top side. Some needed gold into his back pocket. He is in the closest matchup against this Karma, who is building Malignance. Obviously, I can't pronounce the name of that item. Malignance, very powerful in the current meta. Just the burn damage from the Mantra Qs is incredibly high. The Mantra abilities, in fact, are so good as the bullet time thrown out. But it did absolutely nothing to Nautilus, so the engage coming through from the Madlions, they get on top of the MF, and she's going to be cut down as Merwin is here. He's hunting, thriving in the backline as they're already forced to run away as two members of GiantX, the top and the ADC, are killed off. On the top half of the map, though, Jackie's going to be able to secure himself a tier 2 in the top side, but look at the rest of his team running, retreating back to their base as the Madlions squad are into the inhibitor. They're cracking it open already. 18 minutes on the clock. That's an early inhibitor. That's kind of surprising that they've taken it this early. They need to be more decisive, I feel, in terms of the pushes coming out, because taking an inhibitor this early into the game does give avenues of XP and gold back into GiantX that they wouldn't necessarily be getting if the inhibitor was left open. So, what is going to happen now? GiantX already back onto the Rift. Seeing the fact that the Baron is spawning in less than 30 seconds, they're probably going to have to try and contest this one as it spawns. But Madlions, well aware of this, putting control wards into the Iron Pit. Gonna deny any form of contest as here we go, here's the fight. Alvaro getting launched into the air, but he's not going to be taken low at all. He's just staying alive. That was a misplay from GiantX as they burnt a couple of health bars slightly on their side of the Rift as Mad. They're just setting up the death line. Unable to get into their own jungle seem to be GX as they're being pushed back. Alvaro, he sees Odo, rooted him in place. The hook comes through, pulling him back. A lot of trading down onto this Cassante, who is incredibly bulky, but he's just being deleted. The Dawning Shadow does so much, and somehow Patrick dies. This is just Madlions finding the ADC and bursting him out. Unable to contest the plays. GiantX, you've got no mobility, you've got no dodges, and your ADC is down. Baron is going to be the prize for Madlions unless you can get into the pit. Unless you can stop this. But Peach stepping too far forward. He's hooked up, locked up, over the wall goes Vi, and now Varo, he's looking to hook him down. Looking, hitting, rooting, killing. Madlions find the jungler, and they're still on the Baron. Already it's going to drop down. 21 minutes on the clock. That's an early Baron, and Mad will have a big old pusher afterfield down that mid lane. The siege, it will be unrelenting, and GiantX, this game has been a complete disaster. Nothing has been found. A 0 and 5 MF. Do I need to say anything else than 0 and 5 MF? It's been locked in place so much and hooked so well. Alvaro clean with this Nautilus in getting the picks locked up in place. And the pressure from the rest of his squad, it's been second to none. Mad are unrelenting as well. This Baron push coming through, the Void Might coming through as well. The 6 of the Grubs killed off early means that this push is just going to be so much harder to deal with. You've got Merwin split pushing topside with the 4-man squad of Mad in the mid lane. 2 inhibitors down for a minute 20 before the first one respawns. What can GiantX do to stifle this play? It looks like nothing as Patrick's launched into the air with the death charge. Ignar taken below half his HP from that center, who's just firing in damage from long range. Now it's Odo locked in place, rooted, and being jumped on already below a quarter of his health bar. And Mad are just bursting through them health bars, deleting them from the rift. GiantX unable to find a kill, and you have to feel they've got no hope in this series after game 1. It's been a demolition of destruction from the Madlions as they take game 1 of this series. What a game from Mad. That's all I need to say. It was clean, no real opposition because they bullied that bot lane so goddamn much. Elyoya stealing so much of the jungle early, it meant that Peach had no way to play this game. He couldn't tank damage, and it's the same story with Odo. That top lane matchup, Gwen just got too goddamn farmed up with no contest because how could they contest? Peach was unable to get the farm and would have immediately died to the Gwen if he went for a play. This was just clean peak League of Legends coming out from Europe. And what do you know? We got another game of this, hopefully. Because this is the game I haven't seen. I saw that first one live. It was clean. Coming into this one, everything is out of the bag. I have no clue what's going to happen here. And once again, Madlions go to the blue side. I'm surprised GiantX stayed on red. The counter pick didn't really work out in game 1. Game 2, you have to feel they may have something new. Something that should work. Or will they default back to comfort? Already we see the Maokai, the Xin Zhao, and the Kalista banned on Mad's side. And the Varus Karma this time being banned out by GiantX. You have to feel maybe the Gwen gets banned out or carry top. But I still feel we may end up seeing Azir banned out by GiantX. Something mid-laney. It's going to be the Vi. They're going to deny away some early aggression from the Madlions Koi squad. As Elyoya not going to be able to get his hands on that pick. What this does mean is Senna still up and available. The scaling carry of Doom. The souls of GiantX are going to be collected once more. As this pick realistically got first blood in game number 1 and just was unrelenting in that bot lane pressure with that Nautilus. Blitzcrank was obviously banned second rotation by Madlions in game 1. Will we see a change up from GiantX in terms of how aggressive their bot lane goes in game 2? Rumble coming through for Odo Omne. It's a big pick. It's surprising how little we've actually seen it here in the Winter Split. It was touted as a very strong top laner coming into this year, but it's been quiet. It's not been seen as much as people expected, and that's kind of surprising considering the fact that it is very good at dealing with carries. I like this overall for GiantX, considering the fact they've also paired it up with a Rel, the Magnet Storm, plus the Equalizer combination you've now got. Means that it's going to be very hard for Madlions to realistically teamfight into this GiantX squad, as they've got a Wombo combo. Now, where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, it was game 1. The bullet time in combination with the Sejuani ult. Just the ability to lock up a target and burst them out with the bullet time. This time, the Sedge is on the other foot as it goes into Elyoya's back pocket alongside an Akali for maybe Frescowie, maybe Merwin. You won't know until the second phase is over. Jhin. Yikes. locked in for GiantX. I don't like Jin, if I haven't made it abundantly clear. He is not a good ADC. The fact is, he might have won 4 games and lost 1, but that 1 game has left a sour taste in my mouth. So, second ban phase is entered here. GiantX removing Tom Kench from the board. The Kench, obviously a known champion to play alongside this Senna, but maybe we see something different as Blitzcrank once again removed from Ignar's champion wheelhouse. We're probably going to see a couple more support bans here. Nautilus still up and available to be picked by either squad. Rel technically can be flexed down into the bot lane. I think GiantX are happy to ban out supports here. Instead, going to ban out the Talia. That's a surprising one. We haven't seen Talia mid in a long time because it got moved into the jungle as a very good clearing champion. I'm surprised to see it banned out here as Hwei also hits the ban bench. We've seen quite a bit of Hwei with the fact that it has so much burst potential. It's a nice thing to see hitting the ban bench here, as that Nautilus pick that we were talking about going to be locked in here, so it will be presumably Rel jungle, Nautilus support. You can technically play it the other way around, but most people prefer the Nautilus in the support role. What will be the next pickup for Mad? I would like the Braum because you provide a bit of safety to deal with the curtain call. You can, I believe, block the equalizer as it's being dropped. Also, you provide some frontline to deal with the Jhin. This is kind of a common counter into Jhin overall. And Nautilus into Braum tends to be an evenish matchup. The Braum obviously can stack the concussive blows up, and I like that. Pairing it alongside a Tristana. So it's going to be a Kali top, Triss mid, Senna ADC with Braum in support, and Sedge in jungle. Overall, I like this Madlions squad's comp. You've got aggression and backline threat with the Triss Kali. You've got a strong backline in outright of your own with the Triss being there alongside a Senna. Braum and Sedge the front line. It's very, very solid overall. Madlions looking to scrap later into the game with their very defensive sort of comp to deal with pressure around objectives. I think we'll see a similar sort of story to what we did in Game 1, revolving around the objective play from Mad, whereas GiantX, with the aggression this time, are going to be looking to get picks, isolate them off, and then when it comes to these team fights, have the man advantage to just blow up the opponents. 2 more, I would say, explosive drafts here in game number 2, even if there is a Jhin on the board. It's still gonna be an interesting one, so let's get onto the rift for game number 2 of this best of 3. Wow, I went to cut too early. Good job, me. Just play the intro now, please. Let's go. Onto the rift we are for game number 2. Already we're starting to see a level 1 play out from Mad as they send 5 members bot, but the fan out of 5 from GiantX not gonna be dealt with just yet, as 3 members bot side. I believe there's a 4th somewhere. Never mind, it's on the top side. Essentially, GiantX have control on the top side of the rift. Odo not going to go for the deep ward yet. He is actually doing it now. Puts the ward onto the blue buff, so they're going to be aware of the start for Elyoya. Something a little different here in game 2. as Elyoya's pathing was kind of unknown throughout the start of game number 1. So now the vision's on the other foot for GiantX this time to know where he's going to be pathing. Already starting off here. I'm intrigued to see who gets early push in the bot lane. As concussive blows stacked up. One more auto would have put Ignar in a bit of a difficult situation. But we're waiting for level 2 to come through. Which team will get that first? Because whoever does, it certainly will spell doom for the other team. Because they're looking, they're hunting. Level 2 goes through to Madlions Koi once again. So that's going to ascertain early pushes once more. Patrick taken quite low. Just forced to pop his first potion. And now he's still being traded into. Finally, GiantX bot lane hits level 2. That extra pressure being put down onto them will mean that it's going to be a little bit more of a push in favor of Mad in this early game. And so it's going to force pressure out from Peach here. He's already starting to wrap around. But look where Elyoya is. He isn't going to spot the play, but he's still down here in the spot lane. He's still bot side. So GiantX have to be careful here as they're stepping forward, forcing the flash out. That's going to be the center jumped on, but Elyoya, he's coming into this play, and Peach, he is going to be the target. Flashing forward goes to Sedge, forcing the re-engage from Peach. That's going to be a lot of damage put down onto Alvaro, but he's just turning, burning through the Sejuani's health bar. Now GiantX, they're forced to run away as Ignar going to be stunned in place, but there's not enough damage on the Madlions side of Rift. And they're going to be forced to back away, securing first blood yet again. This time it doesn't go into the back pocket of Super. Instead, it's in the Elyoya Sejuani back pocket. Not ideal in terms of where you would like that gold to go, but Sedge early game, now with a bit more control on the Rift, is kind of nice. But we watch this play again, it's just GX stepping forward, gives it away that there's play, so Elyoya turns immediately to come down. Now it's a 3v3, you look how low Patrick already is, so he is kind of the target. However, because Peach turns and immediately tries to burst out this bot lane, Mad immediately turn onto him, burns through the jungler's health bar, and they can immediately look to kill off the bot lane. It's a simple turnaround play that Madlions secure for themselves, but what I will say is, if GiantX possibly waited a little longer before pulling the trigger on that play, chances are they may have got away with first blood, because Elyoya probably would have pathed up, cleared the scuttle, and then pathed to the top side. Maybe look for a play mid. But it would have been a bit of a timing thing, but we'll never know, as first blood was obviously secured by the Sedge. Now, we take stock of how this mid lane play is going. That was a W out from Jin. As a great buffer. It wasn't even a buffer, it was just a great rocket jump out from Frescowie. Avoids the hook from Ignar. And finally, for the first time in this series, Peach secures for himself some objective. The Gromp's going to be taken, but here comes the bot lane. The Braum looks to have landed a few concussive blows onto Patrick, but this bot lane form GiantX being pushed off the wave. It's both Elyoya and Alvaro just hovering, denying CS away from this Jin. And they're looking to continue to apply more pressure as Ignar going to be rooted up. But here is 4 members of GiantX jumping onto Super, gonna kill him off. The Braum doomed to fall once as well. That's the first 2 kills of this series over to GiantX. And it's onto the 2 champions you would like them kills. Jin, Patrick getting one of them, and Jackie's on the Jace getting the other. This is punishing the aggression out in the Madlions, who, let's be honest, have played overly aggressive throughout this series, is finally being shut down here in game number 2. Or so it would seem, as possibilities there off the dive. Not going to come through as Alyaya backs away onto the Drake. But we watch this play again. Ignar, good on the hook to pull himself away from this aggression from Mad. But the collapse came through from mid and jungle of GiantX in good timing. The wave in mid was obviously being stacked up in a situation where Jace couldn't step up. So he just lets that happen, goes to make his own play in the bot side, gets himself some gold, as well as a nice position to be in. Now, obviously, the repercussions of that play is the fact that Trist was able to stack up a wave large enough to get a crash in, get herself a turret plate with the demolition proc. This is, while not the most important thing, it is still a decent bit of gold into her pocket, considering if that kill didn't exist on this chase, chances are the gold would have been slightly in favor of Friscawi. Now, what I will say is, Madlions certainly aren't out of this game just yet. Yeah, the kills score favors GiantX, and they are starting to be a bit more they're starting to have a bit more pressure onto the map. Mad still are able to fight, and they are looking to scale up. This time the scaling is what I would say a similar sort of thing for Mad. It's still quite intensive and high compared to GiantX, who I think have thrown away quite a lot of the scaling they had in game number 1. Obviously, Diazir being a very, very strong scaling champion. Now, game 2, the Jace isn't really there to necessarily hard scale. Alongside this Jhin, they're looking to realistically just be poke pains around objectives, and if they get jumped on, they have the ability to peel away with this Nautilus, as well as the fact that the Rel can peel quite nicely. We saw it already, even if it did go give a kill over to Mad. It still showcased the style of the comp that GiantX have, as topside Merwin gonna burn through a lot of the health bar and actually Ignite takes the life of Odo. The 1v1 outplay for the Madlions top laner will secure. You have to feel a lot of pressure on the top side. Not gonna overstay for a turret plate, as the rest of GiantX already starting to path up here. As here comes the engage, the Glacial Fish are going to be used by Alvaro, and he knocks up into the air this Nautilus, but the re-engage coming through from Peach and Jackie's is not going to be enough, as Peach falls. The rest of his team left him to die. Madlions, they secure 2 kills in quick succession, and they're going to already turn over to these Void Grubs. They're going to deny the full stack of 6 from GiantX, and it looks to be an even split of 3 to both teams. So I believe that will mean one Void Might per team per push. Nice. Let's be honest. You're going to be happy if you're Madlions as mid lane. Jackie's being jumped on. Explosive Charge can be fully stacked up. And he can still push this pressure. Rocket Jump still in the back pocket of Friscawi, as well as the ulti. If the Jace went in for that 1v1 trade, certainly would have died and lost a lot of gold, because now that gold lead that he once had now sits in favor of Friscawi, picking up that 1 kill in that play there. As mid, the Glacial Prism and the Fissure coming through, you have to feel as somehow Jackie's is surviving to play the Q from the Braum, not going to land. Instead, it's just going to be turret plates secured by MDK. They really wanted that kill, but great play from the mid laner of GiantX to avoid the killing blows. And that's just a little unfortunate if you're Madlions, as you realistically wanted to get that kill to allow for this turret to be crushed in the mid lane. So, as it stands, I'm expecting this. Wow, I'm actually surprised that Frascari doesn't have his first item yet, considering he just backed. But let's be honest, Kraken Slayer probably will be his first pickup. That will provide a lot of power. As top side, it's Liandry's into Merwin's back pocket. That is a bit of a surprising pickup, to say the least. You don't normally see that first item for an Akali. You certainly see Rocket Belt maybe. But you get the extra health, a bit more burn. It's a nice item overall, but just a little bit more surprising as Drake was secured here by GiantX, and the immediate fight coming through now from Madlions. They're looking to kill off this Rel, but she's jumping straight into the back pockets of the Akali. The burn damage doing so much work as Frascari secured the first kill of the fight. Jackie's now being ran down, but he's going to use the blast cone to get back to safety. But now GiantX looking for the turn. The hook comes through as the curtains are opened up. Braum going to tank up the initial engage, but the kills are still going over to Madlions. They're hunting for Patrick. The Sedgwick going to be flashed away from, and this is just going to be the rundown of the Sentry. The W lands. The cleanse is not enough, and Patrick gets killed off. Madlions, they lose the Drake, but they somehow win out that fight. They get the extra kill, and they get to continue to apply pressure onto the map, because look where the GiantX are unable to make a play as the DP comes through. Odo looking for a possible play, but he's going to be the one jumped on. Senna, obviously low mana, still does a ton of damage with them auto attacks. Them souls being stacked up, and Madlions certainly are happy with how this fight went. So the initial engage is good. Peach gets killed off here, so there's no real full-on engage for the GiantX. Merwin gets onto backline, but he's immediately forced to peel back to his team, as he doesn't want to stay into that 4-man death ball. Now GiantX turn. They've got the range, and they look to kill off the targets. The hook from the Nautilus looks good, and it forces the Braum to tank, but they were immediately targeting Elyoya, and he's just able to walk it out. So good work there by Alvaro to peel for his jungler. But realistically speaking, the extra kill going into the back pocket of Madlions always nice. They're happy with how it went because the kills are in the right place. Only one, the first blood going into Sejuani's back pocket, not the best for them or the most ideal. So as a whole, Madlions, they're happy. They're doing work. They've secured for themselves the first tower of the game. They've cracked open the mid lane. That's going to mean that they're going to be able to step up a little more, control the map, and certainly apply pressure, especially now that they're securing for themselves this Rift Herald. That will certainly mean that pressure will be applied into the top lane, and I personally think that this will be an ideal maneuver for them, as GiantX are in the area, but they're not able to get to the play in time. Instead, they're just going to walk away. Back away. And now we get to keep our eyes on Elyoya for the next few minutes. With the Herald in the back pocket. You certainly have to feel that this will be applied onto the map somewhere. And I'm just looking at where Madlions are pathing. Already down to the bot side. Odo forced to back away. It seems like it will be a 1-for-1 trade in terms of the towers here, as the top lane tier 1 is falling in favor of GiantX. But bot lane tier 1 will go over to the Madlions. But obviously with this Herald in their back pocket, they're certainly going to get another crash and a lot more damage down onto this tier 2. Void Might's going to be dropped as well. That's going to take this tower to a half its HP bar. But look at the speed that Madlions are playing with. They already secured the pressure into the bot lane, and they immediately transition over to the tier 2 in the mid lane. They're constantly being aggressive. Even if they are going to give away another tower to this Jace, they certainly don't mind because they're ahead of the play with 2 towers overall, as they're also going to secure a pick onto Peach, force a flash away, but the explosive charge will take out the Rel. Need I say it, but god damn. Tristana is packing fire. The Kraken Slayer picked up finally. It's going to mean the extra burst on them 3 autos. The rapid fire is stacking up alongside it. Madlions Koi certainly are hitting their power spikes right now. As Odo, I think you're in a bad position here, as the curtain call is going to be opened up, forcing Madlions to back away. They needed to do this because, goddamn, it looked like that Mad were going to force the dive. Instead, they're forced to back away, forced to retreat, as they're just doing so much work. I'm also looking for the Brum support item. It was just a bit confusing because it looked like something else, but this is kind of interesting. Madlions giving up another Drake. Obviously forced to reset at an inopportune time, as they overstayed their welcome in this bottom side of the map. As such, second Drake of the game goes over to GiantX. They're certainly looking to stack up for Mountain Soul. That extra resistance, the ability to survive some of the bursts that MDK have. It's always a good thing to have. Even if objective bounties are on the other side of the map, it's going to still be a tower trade that will favor GiantX here because the extra gold from the objective bounty is going to be nice. Plus, the big thing is they're giving the extra gold into Jackie's. This Jace going to be a bit more of a threat now with the amount of bursts he's able to do. Interestingly to note, we haven't really talked about souls, but Super is currently sitting on, I believe that says 58. It's not a big enough number for me to read, but 58 souls is quite a lot, as Ignar can be rooted in place. I don't think he gave over a soul there, but yeah, essentially a lot of souls in the back pocket of Super at this stage of the game. He's certainly looking to be a threat, as Elyoya just spites away the wolf cap. Cheeky little play there. Now, Mad starting to put pressure onto this mid lane, as obviously Inhibited Tower is the name of the game. Baron going to be up in 30 seconds, so they can start to open up, start to siege, and then fall back to the Baron pit. Kind of is their goal. As, what do you know, already pushing in mid, walking up to the top side of the map. They're TPing in. That's going to be the Tristana joining up with the rest of her team. As this tier 2, the only one remaining on the Rift for Madlions to take. They certainly want to get this before they go for the Baron. As Peach, he's gone a bit too far forward, forced to crash away. And now, Madlions see the blood in the water. No engage tool for GiantX means that they can start to siege up in the mid lane. They're corralling GiantX so well on the map, as Jackie's going to be almost jumped on, but will be able to survive as the mid lane tier 3 falls. And now Merwin going to be rooted up. He's going to be bursted out in the Shroud. Somehow he's still finding a way to get away. Good use of the E, but that's going to be the curtain call securing the kill. Ignite ticks through the health bar of Peach, and he's forced to be burnt out. Odo, why are you even there? You get killed off as well. That's 2 kills over to Madlions. Plus with the jungler dead on GiantX's side of the map, they're going to start this Baron up, you have to feel. And in complete shroud of darkness, GiantX walking into the unknown. They need to be careful. They're going to be spotted out on this engage. Watch Patrick. He's got his 4th shot primed. Looking for a steal. But can they get into the pit? Patrick stepping way too far forward. You have to feel he's jumped on immediately. Dawn Shadow thrown over top, but Elyoya falls. But look at Frescowy free firing in. The Tristana's on a triple kill. A massive fight for the Madlions. as they secure so much blood and kills and gold. That should be Baron if they wanted to. And there lies Odo. The rest of his team destroyed on their engage, on their embark into the Baron pit. It wasn't enough. And as a whole, Madlions roaring towards the victory line. Just simply put, this fight, Patrick steps way too far forward on his own. He gets jumped on and forced to flash away. Now with no escape tool, it's just easy pickings for Friscawi to kill off his frontline protection. And then Patrick falls, and that is just clean as you like for the Madlions. This Tristana on a rampage. This game, clean as you like. Mad just are that much better than GiantX's Peach. Yet again, caught out the concussive blows, stacking up. Forced to jump over the wall. This Baron pit being denied from GiantX. Look how far forward Mad are, and they're certainly applying pressure as Peach yet again caught out, rooted in place. The curtain call gonna come through alongside depth charge, but that equalizer gonna tag onto Alyoya, but the curtain call gonna time out finally as Mad. They survived the poke and the harassment from GiantX, and they force back so many members. They are on quite low health bars themselves, so they are going to not contest this Baron. Blue Trinket thrown into pit by GiantX will spot the fact that this objective has not been started. Instead, it's Alyoya onto the Drake. Looking at the rest of the map, GiantX nowhere in position to contest this one. It will be the denial of soul point here. Mad going to secure that for themselves. And hey, they're 2 Drakes away if the game goes that long. Obviously, game 1 was done by now. And so this is an interesting point of the map. Point of the game, as GiantX haven't made it this far in the series yet. They are in a situation where, once again, Mad have full vision control of their jungle. So, what can they do as Ignar constantly being harassed here by Alvaro? Peach, he could be locked up. He's in a position where he could be wrapped on. Mad unaware though of his position. Instead, it's them who are in the eyes of GX. Finally, the Baron is started by the Madlions. It's not the quickest a Baron takes until the Tristana starts hitting it, which she is. It's starting to drop quite quickly. The curtain is open up, the Braum tanking the shots, and Patrick, he's not hitting anything too impactful. Instead, you have to feel Merwin gonna get onto the backline. Jackie's jumped on, forced to flash away, but the R2 gonna execute off the mid laner for GX. No more gold now for the GiantX squad to play with, as their most fed member just deleted. But look at the map. Somehow they're hunting, they're finding Super, but they're not going to be able to get him as Alvaro just peels perfect. No, it's Alyoya peeling perfectly. And now the TP comes through. Now Merwin and Friscawi get to kill the enemies off. It's a double kill for both of them as they take all of GiantX off the rift. That's going to be Baron, and you have to feel game over to the Madlions. The series is well and truly over. We watch this again. Curtain call open way too early, and it misses targets quite a lot. It's not really being used to get the kills, but the poke is huge from GiantX that they force the fight. They pop off and kill Alvaro, but on the bug side, Merwin freely executes Jackie's. And so, no mid laner, no poke, no harass for GiantX means that Merwin gets to re-TP back into this play. It's a great play from Alyoya to deny the crash down onto Super. And now it's just free fire from Friscawi, from Super, onto this very low health bar squad. Ignar causes Patrick to die to the ultimate from Friscowie. Clean as you like from the TP play from Mad, as they get themselves this Baron, and they get themselves arguably the game off this siege already into the base. This inhibitor set to fall. There you go. Bye bye inhib. And now GiantX, they've got one more fight left in them to make this game, to give them a chance in the series. Elimination is what they're set to face, as Odo, doomed to fall already, gonna be killed off, and that's a legendary Tristana, as Peach yet again caught out, bursted out and killed. Madlions that just have so many minions in the base. The Baron destroying the Nexus towers, and with this, no protection for GiantX. They're going to be jumped on, bursted out, and killed off. Madlions find the 5 members and take the series in clean, dominant fashion. What I need to say about this series is, it was not close. You could see the clear skill gap, the clear map control, and honestly, team fight pressure that Madlions could apply. A lot of missed positions from GiantX were punished, and realistically speaking, the vision control Madlions set up this game and the series just led to the dominant destruction of GX. It was expected GX weren't going to be the best of teams here at this playoffs, but they still somehow managed to survive this series, and with it, they get some necessary championship points. Season finals, obviously this is 7th, 8th place that they've finished. They get a nice chunk of points, even if it isn't the best. So, that's me done for today. There will be a video in 2 days. If you don't know what it is, then you should look at my channel from the previous 2 years or 3, where we put a video out on this exact same date every year. That's going to be it from me. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new, and if you want to. I'll see you guys for that video, as well as maybe some other content this week. Peace out.